One of the essential tools in any shop is to have yourself a snack machine. But what you have to do is periodically you got to clean these things out. So you want to make sure before you make your next batch, you clean these all properly. So you want to get all the big chunks of crud out of there. Oh, the sun's in here. Nice. And one of the things you want to look at is what kind of cleaner to use. So you need some cleaner that will be acceptable for food grade. So what you were looking at here is we've got some non-chlorinated, which if you're using the welder, you're going to want to have non-chlorinated to clean up your tungsten and all the other materials. And then you've got the non-flammable stuff, which, here's the thing. Chlorine, bleach, is a cleaner, and it also gets rid of all sorts of creepy crawly little, I don't know, stuff that gets you sick. So you want chlorine in there, and you want the non-flammable, because there's just an electric heater here, and if that thing starts sparking, the last thing you want is to have it be flammable. So the best cleaner to use for a popcorn machine is this fully chlorinated, non-flammable formula. That's the stuff you want to use to clean up your popcorn machine. And it'll clean off all the crud and stuff in there. And if you really do use brake cleaner for your popcorn machine, you're going to end up with a kid like that. So you probably don't want to do that, right? How's your quesadilla?
Done.
Yeah, we're getting fired up here in the morning. So we'll get this cleaned out. I'll probably actually just kind of wipe the big chunks out, because the heat kills all the bad critters. So not too bad in there. We'll be able to salvage that. All right, get that going so we can get our work done. Just got everything cleaned out. Want to make sure everyone knows this isn't a normal popcorn maker. This is the shop corn maker. So when you're in the shop, you can use this. One of the nice things about the shop corn maker is you can use that brake clean to clean it out. But you can also, if you're working on something, if you notice, this transfer case fluid works really well as a popcorn oil. It says right here on the label, also great as popcorn flavoring. So what we want to do is to start the popper up, we flip this door open, and we take our big scoop of popcorn, put that in there. Then you want to take the little scoop, which is all full of popcorn because it's got extra transmission fluid in there. Sorry, transfer case fluid. So what you want to do with that is, it's going to be hard to do one-handed. Let's put the cover of the popcorn here. See if we can make this more complicated than it needs to be. All right, there we go. So then you want to take the cover off your shop corn transfer case fluid container. And you want to do is you put your, let's get this here to work. Come on. Fill that up most of the way with your popcorn flavoring here. And then we put that in. Oh, got a little spillage on there. It's going to end up dripping down into the, yeah, I guess that, it's good for the transfer case. I guess it's probably good for your tummy as well. And you flip this down and flip the switch, and then it'll start popping. And when we get done, I'll show you what it all looks like. All right, so as we're, you might hear the popcorn maker going in the background there. As we're getting started here, I wanted to see where to put the transmission oil back in before I drain it out. And I remembered a video from Stunt Car Driver on getting one of these, which I have a bunch of these around for the chickens. Usually we have heat lamps in them, but that's when I put an LED in. So that'll work pretty good. I can clamp that up here. And then for years I've been using these compact fluorescents in my shop light, because they don't get to be 1,000 degrees and then burn your face. Take a little bit of time to warm up, but once you get them warmed up, they don't use a lot of energy. So I get everything set up, finish up my popcorn. But now I can see, I think right here is where the oil goes back in, so I just gotta see what it looks like to get stuff back in there before I start draining it out. So our shop corn is popping nicely here. A little bit of like steam or smoke rolling out of there. Hopefully it's just steam. Then what we'll do is we've got some driveway salt here. We'll sprinkle a little bit of that on there. We'll be in good shape. The door's a little steamy there. Let's see if this works here. All right. Popping it slowed. Do a little bit of dumping out here. Oh, we lost them. Oh, the mice need to eat too. Come on. Sure, we got all the wonderful goodness out of there. All right, it's all out. So take it out. Sprinkle a little bit of that driveway salt on there. And we get a little. Yeah, you love driveway salt, don't you?
No.
Here, we'll just set her there.
If you're putting that stuff on, I'm not eating.
You're not gonna eat driveway salt?
No.
Let's get a big handful of that. And we get it over here and sprinkle it on there. Ah, just kidding. I got popcorn salt. Generally, little schmucks won't eat it. If you guess if driveway salt you're not eating?
No.
No eating driveway salt? All right. Well, we'll start eating that and get back to work. Larger container. So I got my normal oil pan in here. I'll put it inside that pan. That way, the way these oil changes go when you got to pull the whole transmission pan off as they start dripping out like everywhere. So I think it'll be, get a little more area. Can dial it in. I'm hoping to take it off in such a way that I can get the whole thing off. So we'll get it to drain out of one corner and hopefully it'll go into the pan. But we'll. So I've gone around and loosened everything up. So I got them all cracked loose, all the way around. Blah blah blah. Oops. Over here, not so much light on this side, but so now I'm gonna try to set you guys up, get my pan in here. Everything's loose. What I'm gonna try to do is have this front section here be the one where it drains down, maybe one of these corners here. Someplace where there's not a lot of stuff. I don't want to do it back here by the exhaust. That's gonna end up being a mess all over my exhaust. So I'm hoping I can loosen it up enough and get the front section here, which still there's some lines in the way here, but I'm hoping I can get the front bolts out, let one corner of this drop down more than the rest to get some of the oil out. But likely to be a huge mess. I'll need to get some oil dry, I'm sure. But let me get you guys set up and then we'll take a look. All right, here goes nothing. To save you guys time, pulled out. I left the screws in the back here, took the ones out on each side. So I only got the two corner ones. And in my fancy soup can. Like I said, what's going to happen is when I start loosening this up, oil's going to go everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Like I said, I haven't done this on a Ford ever, so we'll see how bad this is. The goal here is to hopefully catch as much of this oil in the pan. There's a pan inside of this, whatever this Tupperware thing is. Ooh, we got some oil coming already. So it looks like we're in the pan like I wanted to be. That doesn't seem like it's possible. It is spreading across the top side there. I think I should try loosening that side some more, or let it drip for a couple hours. I got another screw here. So we could probably get in over here. I don't need 75 extensions here. Could probably reduce this down a little bit. Well, it is getting absolutely everywhere. All right, do some of this here. Loosen this up a little more. I'm not sure how full this pan actually is at this point. Okay, so I got that screw is, I'll say 3/4 threads backed off. Maybe I'll try pulling down a little bit. I said I don't know how much oil. There we go. That's more like oil everywhere. Now we're getting it, so it's not quite in the pan. Excellent, excellent. So I can bring this down a little more. And really, patience is not something I have a lot of, so at some point I'll probably just rip the whole thing off and have oil going everywhere, but I like to try. To not have a huge mess. All right, we got a new drip. Get some oil dry here. Here we go. Need some back here. I'm sure this little can is not going to come anywhere near what I need by the time everything starts running out here, but it's about what you get. Oil dripping everywhere. Oh, there goes the oil dry. That's why I use the small can. The one thing that wasn't very clear, if I haven't already mentioned it on a lot of the videos I was watching about this, is what type of gasket is on here. Just from the price of the replacements, my assumption is that it's a rubber coated steel gasket, which I think I can reuse. When I get it off, I'll show you guys. The gasket does look, it's hard to say here, is that a machine surface? It looks to me like it's a aluminum or steel plate with what I'm assuming is going to be some sort of rubberized gasket or something on it. So I've got this bolt here. Remember now, this pan is going to be, what is this? This is an 1.5 inch deep. It's going to be that full of oil. So it's going to be not heavy, but enough where you don't want to have this whole thing just hanging on those bolts in the front either. So I'm leaving the back ones in, or sorry, this would be the front. Leaving the front ones in. I was trying to avoid all this oil being on the exhaust crossover pipe here, but I don't think that's going to work out for me. Maybe I'll try to lower that side down a little bit. At least it won't splash me in the face. But I'm guessing if you guys are like me, you'd love to see it splash me in the face. Why is that side not coming out? Oh yeah, now we got a lot coming out. I'm feeling pretty good about being able to reuse this gasket though. I think that looks to me like it's an aluminum. That's got to be reusable. If it right up in here, that's the fill spot. So I got a feeling that's going to be a long process. I don't have a pump. I think I'm gonna get a hose, a clear hose, run it up into the engine compartment, and we'll fill it from there. So I wonder if I pack some towels or a piece of wood or something in here, then I can maybe lower the front side down again and have that dump into the pan. And now we're down to 2 holding. So the back should all be off. Let me just double check. So it's not like our lug nut project where I forgot to take some bolts out. So those are all out. So now I'm going to move this up to the front while still somewhat covering the back side, where I'm sure this is where we're going to have tons of fun. Okay, so now I should be able to lower these. Well, it's all the way up, I guess. Okay, so now all the weight's going to be on me once this bolt is out. Okay, so I hope the front doesn't, or the rear's all good, is leaking right where I didn't want it to. Let's just hold here till that runs out for a while. Once I drop this down, try to get it to come this way. Okay, it's kind of like a teeter-totter, I'm thinking here. Okay, so we got the back somewhat slowing in the rapid room. Oh, yeah, so much for that. I guess, remember that concern about the exhaust getting all full of oil? Well, I'm no longer concerned about that. Okay, that's slowing down. Oh boy. I can somehow get this to... I'm going to have this backside down though, so I can get it out. And there's like nothing left. Oh, there's some. Oh, that block of wood is not going to go back on little guy's bench over there. Oh, there goes the filter. It comes right out apparently. That's down. All right, worst part's done. Well, at least the worst part mess-wise. All right, so as we see the carnage here, not too bad. Like I said, we threw some oil dry down. Try to get a lot of it, throw a little more oil dry in there. here is the, let me get my seasickness done here. Here's the oil drain pan, whatever. So here's the magnet that holds all the filings. Oops, let me get the screen here. So we'll take a little closer look at that before we're all done. Here's the filter, which luckily looks the same as what was on the new one that I bought. I don't know, it doesn't look, fluid doesn't look bad. Like I said, it smells a little bit burnt. But this gasket here, let me pull this gasket off, clean this up, but this gasket to me definitely looks reusable. And focus in on here. So I'll clean that up very carefully. So I dumped off the oil in this jug here, just to save it here. Took the oil filter outside, letting that drain into a receptacle I have out there. If you just look, when I cleaned off the filter was, you know, metal on one side, kind of like this. And there's this, I would say it's gotta be metal filings, right? So as we, the tool that I used outside to clean off the filter was similar to where it turned black in the process of wiping everything down. I'm just trying to, maybe I'll take that apart later and see if there's anything in there. But so I'm feeling like probably not a bad idea to change this oil. Like I said, the little bit of burnt. I don't pull a trailer or a very heavy load very often at all. So this is pretty much a daily commuter, 15 minutes each direction kind of vehicle. Not really using it like a truck like most people should. So I would say if you're using your truck at all for anything remotely truck related, you should definitely change it at 50,000. I don't know, I got about maybe $200 in all the oils and everything else. So obviously I'm going to have a good part of a day here just messing around with it, but could probably take it someplace. I guess that'd be easier. It's not how I do things though. So we'll continue letting stuff drip down and get it cleaned up, and when I get ready to put stuff back together, I'll show you guys the next step. All right, so we just pulled it out, right? And we were double checking to see how bad of a job we did. Yeah. And it looks like it was worth having the pan underneath there, because there's a bunch of, that block of wood in the towel that's pretty much completely soaked. But I'm sure that'll light up nicely in the campfire. So yeah, we got a lot of it in the main pan there, and then a bunch of it not in the main pan. So all in all, worth having the bigger pan. I would say get one that's as big as you can get, because that's going to do a lot of area. Video here. So this is the gasket that's in there. I don't know what that there says. It's like something written on there at the factory. I'm going to reuse this. It's got the rubber on the inside. Everything looks good. Nothing's really damaged anywhere. The aluminum's a little bit corroded. I think that'll be all right. Just kind of took a towel across the whole thing, and like I said, looks completely serviceable. So if anybody's got a 2014, I'm not sure how old back they went with this style gasket, but you shouldn't need to buy a new one if you're doing this. You should be able to just reuse the one that comes with it, I guess, as long as it's in good shape. If you don't have a leak, I'm sure, well, maybe I'll be telling you guys what a leak I had once I get this back on. But for right now, it looked to me like the plating on here is getting pretty well wore down. I mean, it's the bottom of the truck. So I just took a little bit of clear Rust-Oleum. Not sure if it's really necessary. Is it all necessary? Probably not. But I gave it a quick once over, and now I'm just letting it dry up while I'm getting the filter and everything else ready. Do a quick unboxing here of the filter, and then I'll compare it to the one that I took off. But as of right now, this is the part number, FT188. Majority of the content made in USA. That's good. So we'll set this up here, get it out, and we'll compare it to the other one. Really? So let's get this out of here. It's got to be in the video, huh? Yeah, just be careful I don't cut your face off with this security safety knife here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right, everybody. Yeah, right.
Uh-huh. You see why everything goes quickly at my house. So,
yeah, right.
Overall, looks pretty good. We'll go compare it to the other one quick. 1 minute. So this is the old. This is the original one that came out of the truck. Get them both in here. This is the new one. Looks like the old one's got a little oil left in it yet. So it looks like overall, it's got all the same. The 1 point here, 2 points here. Looks like it's missing like a sprue or something from the injection. So something's changed there. Let's flip these. This is the. So everything looks the same. So I have high confidence the new one will be fine. Can't exactly tell if those metal flakes are from me cutting it apart or if they were in here to begin with, but this is the suction side and there's some flakes right there. So I think those were in there. That corresponds with that boss right there. So I think those flakes were in there. It doesn't look too bad otherwise. This is the top side. There you go. So that's the top side of it, and that was the. This is the suction side of the filter paper. I kind of took a tin snips and cut that apart. So some of that filing might be from me, but see, there's a pretty good residue of. I don't know, I'm guessing real fine metal particles. I don't know what's all in the transmission. Top side looks good, so that'll get a little bit of drippage here still coming off the transmission, but that's what's on with the casting on there. If you look how rough that is, pretty rough. Don't know that it matters. The internals are what really matters. They've got some sort of a QR code and all sorts of fun stuff on there. I'm gonna grab. You should probably take that dipstick out before take the pan off. I'm sure I could have broken that off in the process, but it keeps on dripping. I just wiped it down. It keeps on dripping. There's all sorts of solenoids in here. I'm not sure if I should be doing anything with those, but really just gonna drop the filter back in, put the pan on, and then start the slow process of refilling this transmission using a hose of some sort. So I do have some additional oil dry. I don't know if that's the brand name in your neck of the woods, but hoping to take care of a lot of that oil drippage here. Wish me luck. So we're going to try getting that out of here. Okay, so this is a 3/4, which doesn't appear to be the right size. But I'm already underneath here, so oh man, I better maybe get the right size. It's really tight, whatever it is here. I'm guessing lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? That's loose in there. See service manual, which I don't have. Let me try this one more time. So I'm thinking lefty loosey, righty tighty. Let's give it a shot. Okay, it's really tight. Tighter than any of the other bolts I took out of this thing. For anybody who's keeping track here, just make sure you don't forget to put your magnet back in. And I took the magnet and cleaned it up with that popcorn machine cleaner. I think it was so they got the little dent here that's supposed to sit in. And then I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit of ATF on this before I drop it up in there. But then we should be good to go. So I also ended up taking a little dab of anti-seize and putting it on the tips of all of these screws that are going in there. That is a 8mm. I've got my can of anti-seized bolts, which probably is not a great idea, but that's how I operate. I should probably give this the once over one more time. Just to get, I'm not doing really a flush. I'm just, like I said, just changing the filter, and we're changing a lot of the oil, so I think we'll be fine in the end. I mean, it's bulk change is going to be huge here. Oh, hey, you know what I'm going to need for this? Probably going to want to put the gasket back in there too. I'm guessing this gasket goes only one way, which is not that way.
Try to knock as much dust and dirt in there as I can. Okay, there we go. Somewhere here I've lost my can of screws. Oh, there it is. Right where I left it. So I'm just gonna get ready with that. This is in, the magnet's in. We have the gasket roughly in the right spot. So if I just kind of put this up in here, line up that hole and that hole, finagle it up in there. I'm just going to hold that while I get a couple of these in. The reason I'm telling myself that anti-seize is a good thing is that this is a steel screw, or I should say it's probably it's a plated screw. It's like a zinc plated or whatever the heck it is. The screw in steel and aluminum don't generally mix. They like to corrode, so I don't know. They were coming out really hard. Now that might be part of the locking mechanism of these. Maybe you're supposed to let them corrode in there a little bit so that they don't back out, but I always feel better if I got full torque or whatever I'm doing going into the part. So now we'll kind of zip through these. I'm sure we'll fast forward this in the editing process. I'm double checking all the way along to make sure that the gasket holes align with the pan holes. Could have probably taken a little wire brush to all these threads. There was a little bit of kind of white corrosion in there. That stuff you usually see with aluminum and steel. You know, like the plate, if the plating is going bad. So again, that's why I put the anti-seize on there, just to give me a chance of getting them off at 100,000 when I do it again. I'll be twisting these stupid things off. Okay, so we have the magnet in there, we have the filter in there, and remember the gasket. So those are all very good things. I used up all the screws we had. Just kind of going round robin now, making sure they're all finger tight. I think what we'll want to do is start in the middle of one of these long sides, and from that point do our crisscross. Lots of oil down here, lots of oil. Lots of anti-rust oil down here. So just going by feel, since I did a quick online search, some forums, didn't find much of anything for the correct torque for this. So going by feel, I think I'm going to shoot for like 40 inch-pounds. I don't know if that's right, so if you're doing this yourself, maybe spend a little more time than this dumb schmuck and try to find the right torque spec for your specific year of F-150 or whatever vehicle you're doing, because I mean, a lot of the stuff we're doing here will work on any vehicle. Okay, that was, I think I'm going to do this in a two-stage thing, so I already tried this one a little bit, just going by feel, like I said. That was already tight, so this is number 3 here now. I think this is, right now, this is 30 inch-pounds. I'm gonna up it to 40 inch-pounds. Maybe I'll go 45, and then finish it up.
Explain what we're doing here. We're trying to scrape off the glitter. Trying to cut through that piece of wood with a wrench. That seems like a good idea. You got your gloves on, right? So that'll protect you from having any issues. Then we get back over here. We're setting up for filling up the transmission. So bought one of these dealies from the auto parts store. Should be able to hook on the oil. There's like a shutoff on here. I'm not going to be using that. So just kind of went through. I actually had to put a smaller, see where that black cap is, right there. I hooked another piece of hose onto that. Get down there, you can see it a little bit. And then that piece of hose, I went down around the exhaust, down to where it goes into the transmission. Won't be able to see it. All right, you're gonna make me crawl underneath here again. Right up. Where the heck am I here? See right there? I put a little clamp on it because it was slipping out. I don't want to. It's not really clamped hard. It's just enough to put a little bit of friction on it so it doesn't slip back out. So now we're gonna go and try to dump oil all over the floor. I mean, refill up this transmission. We're gonna watch that hose.
Yep.
Make sure it doesn't fall out of the hole.
Okay.
Okay, oil's coming. You see oil coming down?
Yep.
Is it going in?
Yep.
Let me know if it starts shooting out of the top or something.
Okay.
To change the plan after the first bottle here, we made a funnel, because it takes a long time for that thing to drain out. So we're gonna try it this way, right?
Yep.
That's the plan, man. Yep. Plan C. I think we're on C, maybe D. Didn't realize how much fun this project was going to be. So I can't get underneath there decent with this thing, even with this extendo spout with the shutoff thing on it. So I look online, and again, it's Sunday, so most places aren't open. I guess I could probably run to town and see what they got. But this has got a pump that I can try to get it in that little holder. So I'm going to take this. So I'll just fill this bottle up. And then I think lotion is good for transmissions. Went online. It seems like Ford really doesn't want you to work on these things in your house. Like, they're not really dumb schmuck friendly. So from what I'm reading online, it's like every other transmission that I've ever done where you have to check it when it's hot and in park. And the problem is the catalytic converter is right next to this dipstick that they have underneath there with no extension. And I should have probably there's a couple spots online where they have kits for the extended, brings your dipstick level back up to where, a decent vehicle would have it. So anyway, I'm going to try this. So with the truck running in park, then I'll use the pumper on this thing to try to pump another cord in there. And I'm guessing that little plug they have in there, or that cap, if you don't have that on, I'm guessing that it's going to end up coming out. So I'm guessing you have to do that. Oh yeah. So anyway, we'll see if I can set you guys up to see this awesome mayhem. This will be pretty cool. Here's the plan. See, A, B, C, D, E. It's probably F or G. I'm not sure where we're at exactly. So you won't be able to see likely when I get underneath here. So I'm trying to fill this thing up with oil. But I called up one of my neighbors because, again, it's Sunday. I got the actual tool that's made for pumping oil. He had gear lube in it, had to clear it out. It's made for a small neck bottle. All the Ford ones are large neck bottles. So what I think is you can't pull that plug out of this thing, that right there. That you can't pull that out without the truck running because it's gonna overfill. So what I've got to do is start the truck, take the dipstick out, check it, plug it in. Remember that right there, that catalytic converter is really, really, really hot. So let me fire it up and see if we can get this filled up. It looks like we're down. We got to be up in this range somewhere, and we're down in here. So now I'm going to put this thing up in there. Hope the heck I don't burn myself. Just about half a quart. We're getting close. Put the rest of this quart in there. Looks like we're right between the A and the B, which I think the A is the full cold, which although the catalytic converter is hot, I don't think the rest of the transmission is. So we're right between those two, so I'm going to put that back in. So now that I've got the
between the A and the B on the dipstick. I'm sure you guys weren't able to see any of it. I think we're going to consider that full for now. And move on to the next thing.
All right, so I bought 13 quarts of the Mercon LV. I used 7. So I think it must hold like 12 and a half or something. Whatever, I rounded up to 13. So if you're doing transmission fluid change and all you're planning to do is drop the pan, change the filter, and not drain out the torque converter or the cooler or any of that stuff, 7 to 8 quarts would be more than enough for what you're doing there. So I'll have enough probably to do next time. I know when I did the Taurus, no filter change, just drained out what I could. I think I bought twice as much as I needed that time too. So a little bit aggressive. Didn't get to the front axle, rear axle with the friction modifier or the transfer case yet. So we'll probably get around to that in the near future. Did get the filter changed and just got done. Took me a whole weekend, but I'm a dumb schmuck. So probably one solid day, I'd say for sure, if you didn't have to go to basketball and church program and all the other fun stuff. So again, we'll have another video coming up for the front axle, rear axle, and the transfer case. But for now, transmission's been changed. Have a good one, guys.